In this video, I'm going to talk about certain scientific studies and why they prove that muscle memory and aiming is a joke. I've referenced them before, but I've never actually shown them to you guys directly, and I figured it was time that I do that. Basically, muscle memory just means like I use the same sense, and that will result in me knowing the sense and being able to consistently hit shots, and that's just not true. Using the same sense doesn't help you. First off, I want to go over these tweets from Aimer7. What he says is that you should be able to change your sense at any given point and still keep your skill because you aren't losing the ability to move your arm, wrist, and fingers. You're just changing how much you move them relative to each other and how far you move them. This is our hypothesis for today. This is confirmed by this article from Voltaic, which I linked in the description. Anyone can change their sense to something reasonable and adapt quickly to prove this, though. My best guess as to why people doubt this is that they'll go from a sense optimized for something like arm aiming to a sense optimized for wrist aim and then still try to arm aim, or maybe they'll do something like this but slightly different. This means that they wouldn't adapt well, and then these people probably just made up muscle memory on the spot as a way to explain why they weren't adapting. Now I want to talk about my second hypothesis. It's the idea that changing your sense will actually improve your aim. If you believed in muscle memory before this is going to be really hard to convince you of, but fortunately I have really strong evidence from insanely credible sources. But before we can look at this evidence, we have to talk about what good aim actually is. Aim, as I said before, is just arm, wrist, and finger motion. In order to move any of these, you need fine motor skills. Therefore, aim is just your fine motor skills working. This means that aim training is pretty similar to writing and drawing. You're just developing fine motor skills. I have two separate studies looking into fine motor skills. One was done by Johns Hopkins and the other is from the US government. The experiments took two groups of participants, we'll call them group 1 and 2, and told them to do a task. They were then told to practice this task, but group 2 was also told to do another task. This means that both groups would do tasks for, let's say, 10 minutes, but group 2 would do the original task and another task, while group 1 would only do the original task for the entire time. After being given time to practice, both groups were brought back and told to do the original task. Group 2 had more average improvement than Group 1. This means that the fine motor skills develop better to a variety of tasks than they do to a single task. Since aiming is just using your fine motor skills, it would make sense that changing your sense would allow you to improve like the people in Group 2. However, I don't have any formal studies that directly relate to esports, so I can't make a definitive statement. Subscribe, because when I was making this video I came up with 3 other ideas for really good videos based on these studies. I really hope to see you here next time and have a great day.